Good morning everybody, and this is your S&P 500 day trade setups for today. So a couple of things on the cards at the moment. So we were basically driven by noise yesterday, and that was around the stimulus package being passed through the House, and that was on Saturday. We still needed to get through the Senate, so that needs to happen. And then we've got a whole lot of noise around the vaccine and vaccine rollout, as well as COVID in general in the US right now. So that is driving sentiment right now. We've also had a bit of chaos on the 10-year bond market as well. So a lot of noise and a lot of chaos around that as well. So those are the things that have been driving us, so the volatility at the moment, the big up, big down, etc. But for me right now, there's a couple of things on offer here. So the first is this trend line break. So you can see we broke it there, didn't really test it. We broke it again, and we're coming back to test it right now. We have a weekly gap. Now, if you go through the history of the last 12 months, every single weekly gap, pretty much except for the one in March last year, has come back and closed. And it typically closes in that week or in the following week. So that is something you need to pay attention to. So we've got this pretty big gap here. If it turns out to be a breakaway gap like it was in March, then we're going to go well past 4,000. My view is still the same. I think we are heading to 4,000, and then I don't know, something's going to happen, but I don't think we're going to fly too far past 4,000. More than likely sort of retrace off that. But this is volatile, and it is chaotic at the moment. So what we want to do here is be trading with the trend, and the overall trend is still up, and no reason to think differently on that at the moment. Last 2 weeks, yes, it's been moving to the downside, but right now, if you look at it, generally speaking, we're above the 155. It is making higher lows and higher highs, so the trend is up. So we start moving down to the lower time frames, and that's going to give us opportunities. So right now, we have broken above the moving averages. Our moving averages have not yet crossed over. So I'm looking for blue above red, and at the moment, red is above blue. So there's a lot of chaos here. There's no clear signal. Look at my oscillators. My oscillator is indicating that we have a potential top, and we need to be careful. Double top on the oscillators, lower high on price. So that is divergence. That is something which I would say we need to be careful. This level here that I've got drawn in, I'm just going to fine tune it a little bit, because I think that is more in line with what we need to look for. Because you can see there's an area where we found resistance there, we found support there, and we broke through, and now we're below it again. So that is 38.96. I suppose we could round that off to 3,900. That's pretty much what we're testing at the moment, is 3,900. So 3,900 is probably the line in the sand that we need to look at to the upside. And to the downside at the moment, we're looking at 38.70. Okay, so let's just look at the hour, because that's the one that I'm interested in right now. And yesterday there wasn't really an entry. There was one brewing, but it never really materialized. So I'm looking for structure at the moment, and it could probably fall a little bit further still. Could come down to 38.70 possibly, and then also somewhere around here 38.80. So come back in this area, find some support, and then move to the upside. I think the key thing to bear in mind is look at the chaos that was here. So we had a range, drop below, above, back in the range, down below it, through the range, back into the range. So I think the chaos is going to continue, and I think Europe is not going to help us at all this morning, because if I look at where the DAX is right now, DAX is at a major level, and it's more than likely going to reject that level like it has been doing for the last month. So be very, very wary of that right now. So with all that being said, what I've been looking for is this area here, and I think let me just block it out so you can see that's the zone I'm watching. I want to see price come back into this area. I want to see the buyer step in. We'll switch to the 15-minute for that. I want to see some price action, and let's just make sure we're all clear about the type of price action we're looking at. So this kind of price action, you can see confusion, range bar, buyers are stepping in, and then a massive engulfing bar, which is confirmation. Okay, so structure like that. Ideally what I'm looking for is a pin bar like that. I'm looking for an engulfing bar, which is pretty much that's an engulfing bar there, or I'm looking for an inside bar, and there's an inside bar there. So those are the three patterns I'm looking for, and preferably two of them. So here you can see a pin bar and an engulfing bar. That just gives you confidence that this is definitely on its way up and it's moving. Here you've got pin bar, it comes back, and then you get engulfing bar. There's another double pattern, quite far apart, but still applicable. So that's kind of what we're looking for. And we don't want it right at the end of the trading day like we have here, because that's not really going to help us. So the earlier in the trading day, the better, or sort of at the open. Now, even if we apply that logic with yesterday on the 15-minute, I suppose this area here was probably a decent area to get in. But as I said, I'm looking for a signal on the hour at the moment to get confirmation of a wider trend change, and that wasn't there. These gaps up here as well are also a little bit concerning, and you can see that gap lines up with the zone that I'm looking for at the same time. So anyway, so guys, I'm kind of sitting on the sidelines here. I'm just a little bit worried about Europe this morning to see what's going to happen. But if I do see something, as usual, I'll put it up on the Telegram channel. But to be honest with you, I'm probably only going to look at this at the US Open. Got a few things to do this morning anyway, so it's not going to happen. I'm going to be watching charts this morning. But we are looking for an opportunity to buy into this. I think that's the bottom line. And preferably off structure. So my structure is here. This weekly gap is a major concern to me anyway, because my logic is dictating that it has more of them have closed than been missed the last year. I don't know what the exact percentage is, but I would assume it's pretty close to 80-90% of the weekly gaps have closed in the same week. So there's no reason for that not to happen this week. Not saying it's going to happen now, but it is a possibility that it can happen. If we leave that weekly gap open and we still move to the top, I would expect around 4,000, somewhere around there. I expect profit taking to happen, and that could trigger a fairly strong move to the downside. There's a lot of analysis from people that I do respect, which are looking at a bit of a correction happening shortly. So, but I think we're first going to target some measured moves, and the measured move is 4,000. So you probably find that people are targeting that first. Once that measured move is in play, then they'll be looking for to buy lower down, and that will trigger a bit of a correction. So anyway, but just stay on your toes, because that correction could happen anytime now. But that is what's looking like in the market. It is really looking tired. There's a lot of people trying to drive this down at the moment, or alternatively not bothering buying anything, waiting for a better price. Okay, so for me, this area here is what I'm watching. Okay, if we can get back to 38.81 or 38.70, reject that area, then I'm looking for a move to the upside. Alternatively, we're going to wait for structure during the US Open, and I think what I will do is pay attention on the 15-minute, and then we'll watch it and I'll give you those signals. So we see this kind of structure again on the 15-minute, then that is a buying opportunity with a really tight stop. But anyway, that's kind of my view today. Definitely looking to buy into this, just not where we are now, maybe a little bit further down, and also want to see what's going to happen in Europe before I even think about this. The currency market is also looking a little bit chaotic, which could influence us as well. Anyway, guys, that's it for me this morning. I hope it helps you somewhat, and we'll catch up with you later on. Anyway, cheers for now.